Hey guys, today's episode is sponsored by Melissa Flick's Author Services. Just starting out or well established, Melissa's Author Services offers both book management and virtual author's assistance at reasonable prices. Working with Melissa is one of the best parts of the day. Go to melissaflix.com, click contact, tell her what you need, and put too many words in the subject line. Do it and make your life easier and have more time to write. All right, let's do the show. What's up, everybody? How's it going? What are you doing? You driving? Are you driving respectfully? Are you yelling at people walking too close to the white line? Did you do that in Seattle? You a short blonde walking a Rottweiler? If you did that this morning, that could have been me. I'm Jamie Bedingfield. This is my podcast, Too Many Words, a place for the creative and more than slightly odd. I ramble about writing, books, life as it is, and then I talk to fabulous guests. And today I have an extra fabulous one. I have Amelia Emberwing on the show for you today. She is a fellow superhero fangirl. She's the founder of Weekly Planet. Go to that site, weeklyplanet.com, and read great pieces about today's entertainment and culture. Very witty, fantastic pieces. So go there, go check it out. Amelia is super cool, and I had a great time chatting with her. That talk will be up for you in a bit. First, I gotta toot my own horn and justify my inner self with my inner dialogue that becomes outer. I don't know. I want to thank everyone immensely who has pre-ordered the Shadow Bearers. Rebecca and I need those pre-orders to win the Geek and Sundry contest. If you haven't pre-ordered your copy and you like high fantasy, know someone who does, and like supporting dreams, go to inkshares.com, type in the Shadow Bearers, and pre-order your copy. Thank you. I've been writing and reading so much lately. I love it. Now that my kids are back to school, my life has fallen into a nice, non-neck-breaking routine. Balance is easier to achieve sticking to working only while they're in school. It helps me not blur the lines of hardworking and a problem. You know, it's something I have to watch. I'm aware of that now. I see it. I didn't want to see it. Here's a tip. If someone tells you you have a problem and you shut it down instantly without any further dialogue, they might be right. Yes. Workaholics. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to myself. I have the tendency. I can convince myself that working should come first at any point. It's tricky because when I'm inspired to write, chances are I'm going to. I have so much to write right now, and it's easy to convince myself into the office with the music turned way too loud. I'm hard at work on my new dystopian series. I'm having so much fun there. The first chunk goes to an editor on Friday. The story is falling out of me. Part of the reason is that I've been writing the story in some form or another for 7 years, and now that I have the voice, the right tense and format, it's all just coming together. Another reason I think that I've been doing things, I've been doing things a little differently. I don't go to my phone, into my computer, or check my email, any of it, until after lunch, which means from the hours of 9 to noon, I'm purely writing in notebooks. What a difference, guys. I'm finding things that I know that I wouldn't in a Word document. I'm inputting all the text after I write it is it's a great way to, natural first pass, getting rid of the junk I don't need. And, it's important as a writer to be aware of your faults, where to watch yourself. My descriptions and active sentences is what I've been working hard on and been chewing away at it. and I can see improvement, and it makes me excited and happy. I want to be on top of my game. I need to be. These next few months, they're big for me, and I got to be on top of my game, people. Um, the best form I can give. Reading a lot has really been clutch. I always read, but usually just one book or sometimes two at the time, in the newspaper in the morning, of course. I've been reading pieces of everything right now, and it's keeping my mind fresh, and I'm able to just focus on more. It's just I love it, and I have five, I think, in the rotation right now. I'm reading Game of Thrones finally, and I fall in love with every sentence. It's so so good. I'm rereading Moby Dick for like the 10th time. I just bought another copy. Puppy Jake went after books. Smart dog knew right where to go when I left the house, and it didn't matter if anyone else was home. And some of you are well aware of it, but Moby Dick is one of my absolute favorites. And I have a whale and a bottle added to my sleeve recently as a nod to that. And I will be getting an owl um, art with a key for Secret Garden in October, and I'm super jazzed for that as well. I'm also reading Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, giving it another chance. I lost my interest the first time around, and I feel it happening again. Same spot too. About halfway through, I'm just not convinced. And the beginning gets me every time. I love the beginning. The description's fabulous. The voices of the characters are great. Um, but and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But yeah, I get halfway through, and there's just a disconnect for me. That happens instantly at the midpoint, which is the opposite of what midpoint should do. But a lot of people love it. I love superpowers. I love these kinds of stories. I want to love this book. I'm giving it another chance. I'm grinding through it. In the comic world, I'm catching up on Squirrel Girl. She rocks so hard. I love to knock back a few with her. She's smart and funny and not drawn like a Playboy model, so there's that she has going for her. And plus, squirrel powers and talking to squirrels is just, it's awesome. The comic itself is reminiscent to what I love about some of the earlier Spider-Man, and that feeling that you're just in it together. Um, and last and certainly not least, I'm reading Monstrous Volume 1, and for the second time, not for the first time, the second time, breezed right through it that first time through, just because it was just incredible, and I was like, this is everything I've always wanted in a graphic novel. Um, the art and story is incredible. The cats are awesome. This time I'm savoring each page. One of the best graphic novels I've read in a while. So if you haven't read it, if you're not familiar, just, read that shit. It's awesome. What do you say? Are you ready to go to my talk with Amelia? I know I am. Let's do it up. Hey, Amelia, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
Doing okay. I'm actually exhausted today, but it's been one of those days where it's like there's not enough time in the day to do everything, and I'll admit I started the day with a hangover, so it didn't give me the best foot forward.
Not the best foundation.
No, not at all. So I've been looking forward to having you on. Geekly Planet is a very cool thing that you started.
Well, thanks. It's a little baby thing, but it's our thing, and we love it.
But the thing about things grow.
Yeah, for sure.
What kind of led you in the direction of getting that going?
So there were a couple things. I got approached almost 2 years ago now by another website asking me to write for them, and I did for a little while, and they were very nice people. It was very evident very quick that I needed to do my own thing. And I was super flattered, because the only reason they asked me is because I had so many opinions on Twitter, which still sticks around to this day. But we had joked around about it a while, and then one of my buddies made a comment saying that Lois Lane didn't get her start at the planet, and so that's kind of where the name came from. And then I was admittedly not 100% sober when I bought the domain. So we were at, I think it was, we were at somebody's birthday party, and I was talking about it to one of my buddies, and they looked at me and they were like, "You should just do it, dude." So I was like, all right. So not super sober me went on GoDaddy.com to see if the Geekly Planet was still available, and it was. So here we are.
That's awesome. Yeah, my podcast didn't start much different. I'm like, how to reach readers. A year later, let's do a podcast.
Woo!
Well, and so I was thinking that it had some Superman inspiration there.
Yes, it definitely does. Which is ironic, since Superman is not one of my... I love Superman very dearly, but he's not in my top 5 heroes.
No, he's not in mine either. I need my heroes to be flawed.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's what I love about Superman. And I guess he does have his flaws, but there's definitely the golden boyness to him. But it's weird because Captain America is in my top 5. Like, I adore Cap, but I don't like Iron Man, but Batman is my favorite in DC, and I do love Superman, but he's not my favorite.
Well, Cap, I mean, he's got so many complex layers.
Yeah, definitely.
He's in my top 5 too. I love him.
Very much so.
So, top 5, who is it other than Captain America?
Batgirl, for sure.
Okay.
Batman. So Black Widow is a new love of mine, but I definitely adore her.
She's awesome.
Yes, very much so. And I'm gonna say Peggy too, Peggy Carter.
Oh,
I have
nice
a thing
one.
for heroes that don't have superpowers.
I can see that.
I really enjoy that. I love the concept of you don't have to be super to be a hero. Like, I adore Clint Barton too. Like, just there's something exceptional about not having superpowers and still throwing yourself in these situations that superheroes are like, I'm probably gonna get hurt. This is not fun.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's an interesting perspective on that. How do you feel about Iron Man then? Because he doesn't.
He doesn't have powers, but Tony Stark and I just don't get along. I do. So I love Tony, but I don't like Tony.
Yeah, well, it totally does. I mean, he's that kind of guy.
He is. He's so. I love Pepper Potts so dearly. Iron Man and I have a very complicated relationship.
I understand.
Especially MCU Iron Man.
Okay, yeah, I see that. I have a tortured love for Spider-Man, and I love him in his flawed, underpowered, sarcastic state. But I feel like in so many cases that the people creating him, they go away from that. And I don't know. I guess I'm old school in that way, but I miss old days Peter Parker.
Yeah, I think Andrew Garfield got the closest.
Oh, he was great.
So much sass, and I'm super excited for Tom Holland. I wasn't at first because I love Andrew Garfield and I wasn't ready to let him go.
No,
but the more I see Tom Holland, I'm just like, oh, you precious muffin, I love you.
And yes, I gotta say, I mean, and he looks so young.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure either because I was totally about Garfield. I really liked those movies. I mean, the endings were rough.
Yeah.
But no, I love those movies. And then when their talk of Civil War was going on, and you're like, whoa, another Spider-Man. I wasn't emotionally prepared for that, but I'm pretty happy with it.
He's pretty great.
Yeah, no, I've got high hopes there.
Definitely.
Well, so then, what did you think about Batman versus Superman?
Oh man. I don't have anything nice to say about Batman versus Superman, so I try not to talk about it super often because I hate being that person.
Totally. No, I'm in the same boat too. When I'm really unhappy with something, I don't like to talk about it. And as a creator, like when I put out a story and somebody hates it, I always wish that they just didn't tell me.
Well, see, and like I live in the opposite camp. But so I go on the Atomic Geekdom podcast from time to time, and I'm pretty sure Dave just asks me about Batman versus Superman so he can get me riled up and go, hey guys, we made her mad about Batman versus Superman again. I just wrote like this annoyingly long essay about what's wrong with the DCEU for one of the websites I write for. It's the characters in that movie are not Batman and Superman, so I try to look at it that way, but they're still wearing the symbols, and it's really hard for me.
It was I agree with you there. It didn't feel like that.
Yeah, it's burger makes me very angry. It's like growing up with Batman and growing up with Superman and just having these characters mean so much. And then having the person who's creating these films say, if you don't love my movie, then you're not a real fan, just kind of makes me go, all right, sweetie, let's sit down and have a chat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there was just so much. And I would, Batman, Superman definitely not as much for me, but Batman, since I was a little girl, I mean, my dad was a toy collector, so he would take me to all these different toy shows. And this one, I was like 7 or 8, and Adam West was there with the Batmobile. And I got a picture with him, and then I remember watching the old episodes and stuff, and it was just that was it. Batman was awesome, and I went on this long streak as for Halloween, I was always a Batman villain.
I love it.
I love villains. I mean, I love my heroes too, but it's hard to be an awesome hero without an awesome villain.
It's true, which is one of the areas Batman excels in.
Yeah, very true.
One of my biggest problems with Batman versus Superman is I thought with Batman that was where Snyder would excel, because Zack Snyder loves the dark, gritty stuff. I was like, okay, well, he ruined Superman, but maybe he'll be able to figure out Batman. And instead, he doubled down on messing up Superman. He took away all of the awesome character traits that Lois had and made her whiny, useless, and only there to be saved. And then he turned Batman into a murderer. And I was like, for the love of God, this was your chance. I thought if there was any of these people that you were going to get right, it was going to be Batman. Yeah. And yet, here we are.
I know. I don't know. It's and I get it too, as far as people, taking on these projects, they want to add their creative flair to it. But there's also a responsibility for some of these characters that you just have to do certain things. With, epic fantasy books, it really helps to have magic in it. There's just certain things that it's it's there for a reason, guys.
Yes. So adding your own creative artistic flair is one thing. Nolan added his own creative artistic flair. But if you take away the core of the character, their core traits that make them that person, then there's no sense in you using the character. Use a different one.
Definitely. Make up your own damn story.
Yeah. If you can't figure out the core things that make this character, don't use them.
Yeah. No, totally. Well, and it's I don't know, especially Batman. It's how do you screw up Batman?
Yeah. I mean, how do you screw up Superman? It means hope. That's his shtick. It means hope. And yet you created this mopey, whiny, angry thing as
It's true. I know. I don't. It's so weird. I know. Well, and then you've got on the other side, I mean, as far as some of the Marvel movies that have been coming out, they've just been coming out so flawless.
And I don't like to compare the two. I like them being separate. But I mean, if you their problem is they've been entirely reactionary instead of doing their own thing. They're so focused on, oh my God, we have to catch up with Marvel. We have to catch up with Marvel. We have to compete with Marvel, that they're not taking 2 seconds to look at their work and go, let's make something good. Now, with Jeff Johns taking over the mantle, I'm hopeful.
Yeah. I'm also hopeful.
at this point, I feel like the DCEU is Joker and I'm Harley. Like, I just keep going back to this abusive situation. Every time it's like, oh, it'll be okay. Oh my God, no, it's garbage. It's complete garbage. Make it stop.
That's a really good, that's a really good point though that you had. Yeah, it is a different thing, but they are so often lumped together because of, what they represent and the books that they have. And yeah, DC, I would see how that is, they are trying to compete with Marvel and it's taking away from the actual work itself.
Yeah, just stop being reactionary and make something good. You do it on TV all the time.
Yeah. I would love to see Batman movies of the Death in the Family graphic novel.
That would be fun and hard and sad.
Yeah, exactly. But if it's done right, that would rock.
Yeah. Like, so...
that would be fun and hard and sad.
Batman versus Superman relies so heavily on the Dark Knight Returns. And it, like, doing a movie on an offshoot comic book is a bad idea. Because those offshoot comic books work because those characters have 20 years of history together. There's all of this other stuff happening. It's an offshoot, so Batman isn't usually a psycho.
Yeah. Those are also valid points.
Oh, man. DC.
Yeah.
I love you so much. Stop hurting me.
So did you like Suicide Squad?
No, it was garbage. First of all, a psychotic murderer showed more of a moral compass than Batman. Like, come on. Really? Right now? So Harley was given Harley could have been this great autonomous character, and instead, well, let's put her in short shorts and have the camera on her butt every single second we can. This is a great plan.
That shit makes me so mad.
Yeah, and it's driven a wedge between camps of feminism because some are like, no, she's empowered by that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but you're missing the point. The point is not that she is comfortable in the short shorts. The point is that the camera is on her ass every single moment it's possible. Like, the problem is not the outfit.
No,
the problem is what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like, yes, it's like, look at her take in all the sexiness. Don't focus on the story that we're screwing up. Just look at her ass because, she's got a nice one and we have a nice camera.
Yeah, and then, the Joker-Harley relationship is disgusting and terrible, and let's double down on that as portraying it as an actual romance instead of just one-sided love. This is a great plan. This is a great message to send to women. June Moon was, Enchantress was, she was useless without her brother. Then when her brother died, no, kill me because I can't live without my brother. And then June Moon was a weeping, sobbing mess the entire time.
It was definitely not as empowering as it should have been.
No,
there was so many missed opportunities.
Yeah, and then at the end clip with Batman and Amanda Waller, infuriated me. I was furious.
Throw the popcorn.
Right?
Well, I mean, and I hate going, because when I go see a comic book movie, I'm ready to just have fun and enjoy myself. I don't want to critique, but it's like, come on. It's crazy. Yeah,
it is crazy. And so I don't need everything to be lighthearted. I don't need everything to be Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy is tremendous, but I don't want every single superhero movie to be it. That's why Guardians of the Galaxy is great. I am okay with having dark and gritty movies. Suicide Squad should have been gritty. That is the tone it should have had. A Batman movie can be gritty. That's totally acceptable. A Superman movie, not supposed to be gritty.
No, definitely not.
It's supposed to be dark. It is supposed to be light and hopeful. And yes, you can have upsetting, a super terrifying villain. You can have all these bad things happening, but it doesn't need to be shot with a dark lens.
Yeah,
that's not the tone of Superman.
No, it's not. Well, I know. Well, and there's so much. I mean, as far as you want to grab stuff from comic book universes that are dark. There's plenty there. Why make
Yeah.
something that isn't that? It's like Fantastic Four. It's like that's kind of naturally more lighthearted than like, let's say, X-Men, which has that whole layer of grit and personal sacrifice and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. And I mean, so I love Fantastic Four. Let me just put that out there. But I have not seen the new one, and I won't.
I suggest
did enjoy the old ones. I thought like the early 2000 ones were great. I loved them, and they're not super comic book accurate. They're not super relevant, but they are good old fashioned fun, and I enjoy them.
Well, they did. That captured like kind of the essence there. You know,
Yeah.
it did, you know, divert. But as far as the kind of, I mean, maybe it's a good-natured essence might be a bit of a misnomer. But like, you know what I don't know if you understand what I mean. But like, there's a good-heartedness there, and that,
Yeah.
and fun, and that was there. So
Yeah,
it's like
it's light. It's supposed to be light.
exactly, and it was kept that way.
Yeah.
And continue to not watch the new one.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Like, even people I know who enjoy everything they watch were like, don't do it, dude. Like, hey, done.
I want more X-Men movies that aren't like the ones we're getting.
I enjoyed the last one. So, to be fair, I have enjoyed all of them so far, with the exception of X3. And even X3 has one of my favorite moments in the X-Men franchise. It's just a terrible movie overall. But when Pyro is like talking trash about Charles after he dies, and Magneto looks at him and is just like, Charles Xavier is the best man to ever live, I was just like, that's amazing. And it's such a poignant moment there. So like, that's one of my favorite moments in the franchise, but the rest of the movie just needs to fall off the earth.
Yeah, no, and I well, and that's one of my favorites, X-Men.
Yeah, me too. I love them.
And I don't know, and I can't even tell you what I'm looking for. I just know that it's not, I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah. I was really happy to see Phoenix done right, because I love Phoenix.
Yes.
I was really glad to move away from useless Jean Grey into, no, I am one of the most powerful mutants to ever live. Fear me.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Yeah, she's in my top 5, and I do
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that she was handled well.
Yeah. Storm was a giant disappointment, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Same with Psylocke.
Yeah.
Also unfortunate.
Well, that's it though. Casting really makes a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the writing and there's the, you know, paying, you know, keeping things like, you know, keeping Suicide Squad gritty and keeping Superman full of hope. But there's also, you know, casting is big. And I think like Civil War, it was a great movie. But the casting, there was not one person that I would have switched out.
Oh, no, not at all.
And that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I mean, and I wanted Jared Leto to do a good job. He had really big shoes to fill. I don't know that anybody will ever do a better Joker than Heath Ledger.
Well, and I mean, so I don't compare Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson because I love them both for such completely different reasons that I just view them in their own light. And they were trying so desperately to move as far away from both iterations as possible that they made this weird pimp thing, and it was not good.
No, it just wasn't the Joker.
No, it was not at all in any means.
I mean, and there's like, I mean, he is the Joker is a dangerous psychopath.
Yep.
He needs to
Does not love.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. It's like, you know, the Grinch syndrome. Like his heart is just too small.
Yeah, it's not, he doesn't love, he doesn't have a plan. He's just chaos and blah. That's really the best I have with DC right now. It's just blah blah.
I know. Well, it's frustrating. I want to, especially, you know, there's definitely people who show up and they expect to not like it.
Yeah.
But like then there's us who we go and we're ready to believe in them, and it's like, come on, what?
To be clear, I'm not ready to believe in that anymore. It's gone. They don't have my hope anymore. And there are
No.
people who have tried to use the Superman spin on me and been like, no, you have to keep hoping. And I'm like, no, I'm done hoping. Suicide Squad was the last thread of my patience with this franchise. And it hurts me so bad because I want it to be good.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
want it to be great. I want them to excel. I want them to be as amazing as they can be, and they're not. It's so bad.
Well, so what are you are you reading any good books right now? Comics?
I am not reading any comics right now because I have 3 books that I have to do reviews on.
Ah.
So I have Dead Feminists that I have to do a review on, and then 2 others that I haven't started yet that are all due in November. So comics are on hold right now. But I
understand.
have been reading Nick Spencer's run of Captain America, and I think that's exceptional.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there.
Yeah, that's very good. And so, like, I was just as up in arms in the beginning, sans, murder threats, because I'm not a psycho. But like that's the point. You're supposed to be. Your love for that character is supposed to make you angry. You are supposed to feel that.
Yeah.
That's his job as a creator to make you feel that.
Yes.
So, like, I'm very excited. I cannot wait until Steve snaps out of it and just eviscerates Red Skull. I'm very hyped for, like, the finale of this. Like, we're starting to see the directions that it's going to end up. And I'm loving it.
Well, that moment, right, when all the pieces start to come together and you're like, oh, you can start to see what's going on, and then it, like, hits you and you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, like, oh, stuff is going to go down.
So you're reading, that book sounds really interesting that you're reading Dead Feminists.
So it's really good. It's very pretty.
Okay.
So they do, I don't know what they're called, but they do like these lithograph, like, poster things for each one of the feminists that they focus on. And so, like, it's got a bunch of trailblazers in it. And like the only thing that turned me off of the book at first was the title.
Yeah.
And then they acknowledge that in the foreword. They're like, we know, but it's cool. And they kind of explain it a little bit. So it's really good. It's really pretty. It gives you some really cool facts about some really cool women. I highly recommend it. I'm not positive when it's coming out. But my review will have all that information because I have to figure that out before I post it.
Nice. Well, so what do you write book reviews for?
So I think Dead Feminist is going to end up on Smart Girls.
Oh, cool. That's a good one.
So I basically pitch each one of them on an individual basis, and I honestly don't know what started people sending me these advanced copies of books. I have no idea. I'm not upset about it, but I don't know where it started. Like, there's a very distinct line where, like, the Geekly Planet started, and writing for Smart Girls started. And like writing for the other outlets that I write for started. But Corinna, the lady who sent me Dead Feminist, she's the publicist for the ladies that write it. Either that or she's the publisher. One of the two. I'm not positive. But she reached out to me and she was like, hey, do you want to write about this book? And I was like, sure. So I think it happened because I interviewed Sam Maggs about her book. Her newest book, Wonder Woman, and Smart Girls did the cover reveal, which I also wrote about. So I'm wondering if that's what spurred it, but I'm not 1,000% sure.
Yeah.
It just happened. I'm not mad, but it just happened.
Yeah, no, I was surprised too. Like, I had the podcast going for maybe a couple months, and then I started getting emails like, hey, would you be interested in reading this and talking about it? And I was like, sure.
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually, I'm reading Unseen World by Liz Moore right now. She's going to come on the show in a few weeks, but I'm also going to, write a review.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, no, this is incredibly crafted fiction. I'm kind of blown away.
I love fiction so much, and I'm so glad that, like, there's been a job reason for it to come back into my life, because otherwise it gets pushed to the side.
Totally. No, I'm right there with you. I'm, when I'm reading all these books for the show now, I make more of a point to actually do it, to sit down and read it. And it's nice because, there's only so much time within a day.
For sure.
Well, freelance writing is just, it's very time consuming.
It is. I have like 3 deadlines right now. I'm just like, oh, okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. I also work like 60 hours a week at my day job. So I'm like, it's good. It's good.
Well, yeah, you have to tell yourself. I mean, because like I'll get in, modes where I'm thinking about everything that I need to do in the time that I have to do it. Actually, this week is kind of a challenging week in that regard. And no, it's panicking is no good, but it's easy to do it.
Yeah, for sure. It's like worrying about things that I can't control at the top of my resume.
Yeah, yep. Mine too. Well, I just and you probably have seen me pumping this on my media channels, but me and another author we wrote a fantasy book, and we have it in the Geek and Sundry fantasy contest.
Oh, awesome.
And the top 3 Geek and Sundry picks them and publishes them and distributes it to bookstores and stuff. So it's great and it's going well, but it's like it's taking up 90% of my brain.
Yeah, for sure. That's stressful.
And I need more to use on other things. So I'm like scrambling around, and it's like I was burning the bacon this morning. I'm like on my phone with Rebecca, who I'm writing with, it saying, "What do you think about this? Let's do this." Well, so TV shows. What are you watching? TV. This is, I gotta say, a really good time for TV.
It's an exceptional time for TV, and I'm exhausted. So like something needs to start getting bad is what I need to happen. I have to go through the days of the week because otherwise stuff will get forgotten. Mondays, Gotham and Supergirl. Tuesdays have gotten easier because I think I'm breaking up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm really sad about it.
I broke up with them.
I love every single person involved in the show. I want it to succeed. I want it to be exceptional. It's lost to me. It's the same story every season, and I'm bored.
That happened to me, and I didn't want it to happen.
No,
but it happened.
I do. I want to love it. I do. I can't. And with so many shows, like it's such a good time for TV that I'm just like, if I don't love you 100%, you gotta go.
No, definitely. I'm the same way because it is. I mean, there's just TV is so good right now.
It is. So Tuesdays have gone down to just The Flash.
Okay. That's
Wednesdays,
a fun one.
Oh God, what is even on Wednesdays now?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I know there's stuff. Arrow.
Yes.
Arrow.
Okay.
Still watching Arrow. Arrow had a little bit of a rough season last season, and a rougher season the season before. But I'm still, I have a deep love for Felicity Smoke, so I'm sticking around.
The first season was so good.
It was, and the second season was exceptional too, and then third was just so bad. It was just, like, it wasn't badly written. It was just hard. Like there was no hope in the third season at all. It was just all darkness.
Yeah.
Thursdays, Supernatural and Legends of Tomorrow. And I don't think there's anything on Fridays, thankfully. And Preacher, which I'm like 12 episodes behind on.
I have not started that yet.
I love it. It's very good.
I've heard good things. I want to. I just finished watching. I hadn't watched any of the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And then I started watching all of them, and that's taken up a good majority of my summer.
Yeah, that is a hunk of time. With Preacher, I don't know the source material at all, so that's actually kind of nice for me. Like just going into a geek franchise and not knowing what I'm getting into. So I like that. I like just it all being surprised.
That is refreshing.
It is. It's very nice. And like so many people have been like, well, I have all the graphic novels. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to read them. I want to keep going down this trend of I am so lost, but I'm having fun with it.
Totally. Well, I wish I did that with The Walking Dead. I got so excited about it that on an off season I got into the comics, and now I'm like, I'm not easily surprised. I have expectations.
Yeah, I broke up with that one a while ago too.
Did you?
I did. Beth was my hero, and I loved her.
That was hard.
She had just the best arc, and she went from this mopey, pathetic teenager who was going to kill herself to this beacon of hope, and just had the most pointless death. And then Tyrese was like 2 episodes later. So the show murdered off like its 2 hopeful characters in quick succession. And I can stick around through a lot, but you have to have some semblance of hope for me to stick around. And it lost that for me.
I get that. So that's when actually my husband stopped watching it.
Yeah.
He was like,
done.
I can't. And I mean, that was, Beth was my favorite, and it was starting to look like Daryl and Beth were getting together.
Yeah, which was a little weird, but I was there for it.
I was a supporter of the idea. And then, that Slab Town stuff.
It was so hard.
It was tedious. And then you're right. I mean, it was a pointless death.
Yeah.
It was.
So that was rough.
Yeah.
And then, so I knew Negan was coming as well. And so I know Negan kills Glenn in the comics. So, and Glenn is my other favorite. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. Because if he doesn't kill Glenn, he's going to kill Maggie. And I love Maggie. So, you know what? Just no, we're done. We're done. We're breaking up.
Yeah.
So I left that one. I'm really excited for Conviction.
Yes. So am
which
I.
is also on Monday, which is going to just, Mondays are the worst.
Do you have DVR helps?
Yes. And thankfully I don't have to write about all 3. I just have to write about Supergirl and probably Conviction. And then Chicago Med is my not geeky show that I just love.
So how fun, you must be, I mean, that's fun. You're watching shows and you're writing about them and you're sharing it. That's fun.
Yeah.
What kind of started you off with, on the writing train? Is that something you kind of always knew that you wanted to do, or did you end up falling into it, or?
Well, I've always loved writing, but it actually started because I live tweet all of the shows that I watch, and that same website that brought me on, that's why they brought me on. They were like, we love your live tweets of these shows. Come write about them.
That's awesome.
And, yeah.
Win for Twitter, huh?
Having opinions on Twitter turned out positive for once.
Amazing.
What? But yeah, I stayed with them for like 6 months before I broke off and did my own thing.
Nice.
And now, so I don't write about all of the shows that I watch because that would have to be my full-time job.
Fair enough.
So I have a group of amazing contributors that keep my website alive. They're all very great, and I love them very dearly.
That's awesome. It's awesome. It's nice to have help.
Yes, it really, really is.
I know this is the book that I was just telling you about. This is the first time that I'm collaborating on a one piece of fiction, not like an anthology or something, but like one piece. And it's it's life changing. It's amazing to be able to not only share crazy ideas, but it's like, I can't do this particular schedule or share thing right now. Oh, you can do it. Awesome.
Yeah, that's so helpful.
It really is, because I feel like I always want to clone myself, even though that I would definitely fight among myself.
Yes.
But the idea of being able to be like, okay, Jamie 1, hit the kitchen. Jamie 2, go down to work. Jamie 3, take the kids to the park. I would love that.
Yes. That would be amazing.
Yeah. It's on my superpower wish list.
Yes.
So is telekinesis.
That would also be very helpful.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up to get that remote. Bring it to me.
Exactly. Although, I mean, that's one of those powers that I feel like, my moral compass would be definitely tested. It's like,
yes.
Where do you stop with telekinesis?
You don't.
Exactly. Jean Grey can show us that.
Yes. Yes, she can.
Well, Amelia, can you tell everybody where they can find out about you and all your cool stuff?
You can follow me on Twitter at Browncoat Horror. That's the brown coat from Firefly and the hero people from Harry Potter, if that didn't make sense to you.
I saw your use. I was like, that's awesome.
So And then you can find me on my Facebook, which is at Just Amelia E. And that's my handle on Instagram as well, but not on Twitter because I don't want to give up my Twitter handle. And yes, I understand that for branding, it should all be the same. I don't care. I like my Twitter handle.
Your Twitter handle is awesome, and you should hold on to it. I support that.
To let it go.
I know. I saw that, and then I look at mine, which is just me, Bedingfield. I'm like, oh.
Well, to be fair, from a branding standpoint, that is infinitely better.
Yeah, well, I haven't been consistent. I didn't even think about that until really until I started bringing people on the show, and then it's like, oh, you can find me by this name on every channel, and it's like, one place I'm Jamie the Scribbler. I wasn't consistent.
Me either. I had to go back and fix things, but my Twitter is staying.
Yeah, well, it's a good one.
Yeah.
And then Geekly, it's geeklyplanet.com.
Yep, thegeeklyplanet.com, and then I write for Smart Girls and Entertainment Earth and Culturess.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. It was really fun talking to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I had a blast.
And that wraps it up for now, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome. Love all the support, shares, comments. It all rocks. Go follow me on Twitter at @meBedingfield. Follow the show at Twitter at TooManyWordsPod. Go to inkshares.com, look up the Shadow Bearers, and pre-order your copy. Help us rise to the top and tell your friends. Read my column in the Matters of Kindness on Feminine Collective, and have a good week. I will talk to you soon.